All right. Hi, everyone. Hope you are doing well. My name is Arpit, and today I'm going to discuss about the top 10 must-know tips for the Power Pages developers. I have a very good background working with the Power Pages, so I just wanted to share my knowledge. Uh, Whatever I've been working in the Power Pages, whatever lesson learned from my past experiences. I've been working with the Power Pages since ADX, it was known as ADX Studio. So I know it's how it birth looks like and how it's been grown up. Now it's known as the Power Pages. So today, I just since there are a lot of tips I wanted to share with the community, but I just grab only top 10 tips that is quite useful for the developers. Just wanted to begin my session with a quick introduction about me. My name is Arpit Shrivastava. I am a four-time Microsoft MVP awarded and four times Microsoft certified trainer. I am currently working as a Power Platform expert in Capgemini, Sweden. I am also the coordinator and the ambassador of Power Community User Group, and I've been sharing knowledge with the community since 2019 through various ways. I've been writing blogs, I've been speaking and giving trainings all over the world, in-person trainings, online trainings as well. I'm sharing my knowledge on my YouTube channel as well. I run a lot of mentorship programs. So if you wanted to check all the, so I have recently uploaded the 30 days Power Pages learning videos as well. So if you want to learn the Power Pages, I have I have got covered everything for you in all those 30 videos from beginning to the advanced level, so that you can check on my YouTube channel with the name Arpit Power Guide. I have recently published my book as well. I can officially say that I am the author of my book, like Learning Microsoft Power Apps as well. So if you are interested to buy my book, you can get it from the Amazon or ebooks.com, or you can read it online as well on the Orally platform. So this book is all about the Power Apps, and it has covered everything about the model driven app, Canvas app. You will get all the latest features until July 2024, and with all the practical and the real world use cases. So yeah, so that's all about me. Well, if we talk about the today's topic, uh, if you are, as you know, like Power Pages is one of the most used component on the Power Platform family, and uh, since I've been working on this Power Platform and the Power Pages from a long time, so whenever you get a start with any Power Pages project, what are the top 10 questions that you need to ask to yourself, your man, and your customer or your architect before you start doing the project implementation? Okay, so these questions basically help you guide to embark on your projects. The first question is, who will use my site? Okay, so that is the first question that you should ask, like who is going to use my site and who is going to be the audience of that site, because since like the Power Pages is an external facing website, and it can be used by the anonymous users, it can be used by the authenticated users, and it can be used by your internal employees or the internal users as well. So internal users are those who are having the Microsoft Entra ID account, right? So you need to know about that, like who are going to be the audience of your Power Pages site. Based on that, you decide. Being a developer, you decide like how you have to provide the security, how you have to, implement the features, right? Actions, what will my user do? So if you are developing a portal, then the second question you can ask, like what are the possible actions that user are going to perform on the website, like whether they are going to submit any application like forms, whether they are interacting with some external applications, how the data is going to be communicated with the external application, how the data will be pull and pushed from the database, and how the forms will look like. So means it's all about the actions. What are the actions that user is going to perform, right? Content. So as you know, like portal is a public facing website, like, and you have to show a lot of content and the text on the website. So you need to decide and you need to ask the question like what kind of content or text, whether it's a static messages, static text string messages, or any dynamic sort of information you have to display on the portal. Roles, what is shown publicly and what is secured. So since this basically all the tips are for the developer, so I'm assuming like you have some basic knowledge of Power Pages. So, what is shown publicly and what is secured means sometimes if you build a website using Power Pages, you have to display some of the information publicly to the users or the customers. Some information you have to provide it confidential, where user needs to log into your application in order to access that, right? For example, like if you are developing an event management website, so in that website sometimes you see all the events that a particular organization is announcing. Like if I talk about the New Zealand Business Application Summit website, right? So you can see all their events they are hosting or upcoming events, all the speakers. So these kind of details you can check on the website without being logged in, right? So these information are publicly available, but sometimes some of the information you need to log into the application. So you need to distinguish that feature, that what information you need to access publicly or what is secure. Authentication. So there are a lot of identity providers or the authentication mechanism available in the portal. So you need to ask this question too as well, like what will user use to sign in or register? You have got Microsoft Entra ID, you have got local authentication, you have Azure AD B2C, and you have some social media provider identity providers as well. So you need to ask this as well, like who is going to like what will be the user use to sign in or register for my application. Now, once they are accessing or successfully authenticated, then how the data will be segmented after users sign in. Okay, so data will be segmented means like how the permission is going to be managed. Like someone who is having only read access on their own data, then they should only have the read privilege, not the global level of privilege, right? So this basically we need to ensure like a proper authorization we are providing. So if we have the knowledge upfront, like what data will be segmented, then it will be help you as a developer to set up a proper security on the Power Pages website. How will my user find my site? So you need to set a proper SSL certificate, custom domain to your website once you deploy your site to the production. So that is also is one of the most important questions that you need to ask, like how the user will find my website. Data modeling. So how the data model will look like. As you know, like Power Pages is built on top of the Microsoft Dataverse. So all the data is stored, primarily all the data is stored in the Microsoft Dataverse. But of course, you can integrate with the external data sources as well. For example, you have the Cloudflow integrations, you have the API based integrations, you have the virtual tables integrations. So you have got many ways to integrate your Power Pages with external data sources. But for that, you need to know in advance, like how your data is going to store, right? What data will be stored in the Dataverse or what data will be stored in the external data sources. If the data is going to be stored in the Dataverse, then what is the data model will look like, how the relationship will look like, how many tables you have to create, how many columns you have to create, right? Sometimes some of the columns that you are creating for internal user or for the internal model driven app will not support on the Power Pages side, right? So being a developer, you need to understand first like how the data model will look like. Based on that, you create the forms, list, and other components for the portals. The ninth one is the integration. So as I told, like, except the Dataverse, if you are going to store your data sources in some other data sources, other external data sources or application, then you need to know that as well, right? Because in that case, you need to design the integration architecture in that case, like whether you need to call an REST API, whether you need to use the Cloudflow integrations or any other integration mechanism to, integrate the data and pull the data from external application to your portal. Okay, sometimes you bring the data from external system and store it in the Dataverse and then display it to the portal. But sometimes your customer don't want to store that data in your Dataverse. So in that case, you have to display that data on the fly, right? You just display the data in the read-only format on the Power Pages website. You don't store it in the Dataverse. So that is also one of the thing, like how you want to integrate your data. And the last one is, you as a developer, you should aware about it, like what are the known limitations, what are the known issues that we have currently on the Power Pages side, what are the features that is currently in the preview, and what are the upcoming features are coming. Okay, so this is very important from a developer perspective to know in advance, so that you can better design a solution for your customer, right? So these are one of the things that I actually do in a practice whenever I start working on any Power Pages project development. Okay, now once you decide, once you ask these all the questions, you have got answers of these questions, then your first step is to begin the development, right? Begin the Power Pages site development. So for that, we have the tip number one: code smarter, not harder, right? So since the other Power Platform components, in the Power Pages also we have got many ways to write the code. So being a developer, we need to understand this, like what are the different options available to extend the portal capabilities. So in this session, I'm not going to discuss about all the low code features or the features that Microsoft provide for the app makers. I'm going to discuss about all the features from the professional developer perspective, right? So if you are designing a website and you need to extend that, you need to customize that. Okay, so as per my past experiences, in whichever portal project I have worked, there is no website development can be achieved using low code, no code features. You have to write a lot of codes, you have to write a lot of you have to do a lot of integrations, you have to write a lot of custom business logic for that, right? So being a developer, right, what are the different options we have, or what are the different tools that Microsoft provides to extend or to write the Power Pages website codes? Okay, so first of all is where to write the code. Like what are the options you have to write your code or extend the portal capabilities? The first one is Power Pages Design Studio. Okay, so this is the tool that Microsoft has provided, especially for the site makers, but it doesn't restrict the site makers only can use it, but the developers can also use this tool. This is one of the most common or one of the most used tools to design your Power Pages sites, and Microsoft is also heavily investing in this area. The second way of developing your website or using Power Pages is Power Pages Management app. Earlier, we also call it as a portal management app when we had the normal data model. So nowadays we have the enhanced data model. So we call that as a Power Pages Management app. So Power Pages Management app is basically a model-driven app. It gets created whenever you install a Power Pages site in your Power Platform environment. Okay, I'll show you in the live demonstration as well. But just to understanding purpose, the first tool is Power Pages Design Studio that also helps you to design the portal. The second way is Power Pages Management app. The third way is VS Code Online. So this is also integrated with the Power Pages Design Studio, where if you have written any JavaScript code, you have written any CSS or HTML, you can directly open that code or edit that code in the VS Code Online version. You can make the changes in the code and can sync the changes back to your Dataverse or your Power Pages site. Okay. The fourth option is the VS Code local, where you have the VS Code, installed on your local machine. The advantage of, writing code or doing customization on the local machine is, you can work offline as well. So you don't, so earlier options like VS Code Online, Portal Management app, Power Pages Designer Studio, these all the options are the cloud version. So you need to have the internet connectivity in order to, customize your application. But in case of VS Code local, you can do your work offline. And this is also in case of backup as well, because I have faced many times in my past projects, like, you are doing something on the online version, or you are doing something in the Power Pages management app, and accidentally, the server the site got crashed, or any unusual thing happens on the cloud version, and my code got lost completely, right? So in that case, if you have the local, if you're using the VS Code local, you can take the backup, because you are doing everything on your local machine, so everything you have on your local machine. So this is also a good option to do the development of the Power Pages site. And the last and another one is the Visual Studio. So similar like the VS Code, but Visual Studio provide you more capability. Like you can, you can directly connect it with your GitHub repository, Azure DevOps repository, and then you can push and pull the code directly from there. So VS Code, similar like the VS Code, you can use the Visual Studio code as well. Sorry, the Visual Studio as well. And then you have the Azure DevOps and the GitHub that you can use to store your Power Pages configurations, and you can connect with any of your VS Code or the Visual Studio to, pull and push the data. So these are the different ways where, or the tools that you can use it to, customize your Power Pages application. Okay. So if I can quickly go back to my Power Pages site. So this is how, so let me drag it to here. All right. So if you have to, open the Power Pages site, you need to first go to the makes.powerapps portal.com. So you need to land on this Power Apps Makers portal, and make sure that you are on the right environment. So I already selected the environment. So let me go to make.powerapps.com, and then I've selected the Arpit environment app. And then if you see the option in the left panel, there is a website option. If you don't see this option, you go to more, and you can pin that option from this list as well. Okay. Now, if you already installed or created the Power Pages site in your environment, then just click on the apps. Then you will see an app called Power Pages Management. Okay. So uh, this is the common model driven app will get created for all the Power Pages site you have created in your environment, right? So that you can manage, if you have to manage any of the component, you have to write the code, then you can do it from this model driven app. The second option that I was talking about is, Power Pages Design Studio. So click on your website. So for example, like in my environment, I have got two website created. So for example, I want to edit this website in the Design Studio. So just click on this and click on edit. So this will take you to a Design Studio page. Okay, now this Design Studio page is the new way of developing your Power Pages site. So all the new features like Copilot AI related features, and rest of all the other features, you can get it in single Design Studio itself. Okay, so here you can see like there is a grouping of all the components. So here you got the pages. So whatever, so pages are nothing, it's just a container where you display the information in the form of list, forms, whatever you want to display. So here you create a lot of pages, and then you design the navigation. So navigation is nothing, it's just a menu or the toolbar you create on the portal. So, and then styling. So you can do the styling, you can change the themes, background color, title, headings, and whatever the out-of-box feature that Microsoft provide. Under the data, you get all the tables, the solution list as well from here. So you can see all the solutions, you can see all the tables from here. So you don't need to switch to the solutions in order to create the tables, in order to create the relationships. So the data model I was talking about, right? So whatever data model you have to set up, you can do it within the Design Studio itself. If you go to the setup part, then you have got some features like Cloudflow integrations, some external app integrations, go live checklist, and everything. I will discuss about that in the later slide, but these are all the groupings of features that you get. Security related features comes under this, that you have the web roles, permissions, and everything. All right. So this is how you can develop your site. And one more thing, like, you can see in the right panel, you have got the Copilot as well. So you can ask the Copilot to design the page for you. It will create the forms for you. Or if you have any questions related to the Power Pages, or if you are having any issues, you can directly ask the question to this Copilot. So it will either give you the relevant answer, or it can give you some of the reference of the MS Learn articles, right? So this is how you can, utilize this Design Studio. The second option that I suggested is the management app. So if I open this app, you can click on play option, just like you run the other model driven app, and it will take you to the Power Pages management app. And here you also see the grouping of all the components, but from the developer perspective. So here you have the website related components, content related components that you manage to content of the Power Pages site, like list, the web files, forms and everything, security related things. So this is quite friendly option for the developers, and this is basically for the app makers. Now, if you have to edit your code. So for example, this is my home page, and I have done a lot of customization on my home page, and I have to change the script, CSS, or the HTML of it. So I can directly click on edit code, and it will ask me to open the Visual Studio Code. So if I click here, it will take me to the VS Code online version, and here I can see the HTML part of this home page, and I can start doing customization here. I can write my code, I can change everything here. And the interesting part is that you have got the Copilot options in the left panel in the VS Code as well. So if you have any questions, you can ask directly to the Copilot. I will come to this part later, but this is the advantage of using VS Code. So this is the cloud version, but the same thing I have installed on my local machine as well. So if you want, you can simply download the VS Code uh, local machine version, and you can start doing and then you need to export your all the Power Pages configuration on your local machine, and then you can start doing changes in your code, and then can push back to your repository or in the Power Pages side. So these are the different options that you have got to customize your application. Okay, now if I again head back to my slide, then so these are options are done. Then what kind of customization you can do? So this is one of the quite common questions asked by the developers, like what are the different options we have to customize the Power Pages application? So since this Power Pages product is a SaaS based product, so of course you can't see like what is going on in the background. So basically, whatever Power Pages site, pages, default, the layout of the application you see on the public facing URL, then that you cannot customize. So server side coding is not possible in the Power Pages site. So what are the other things that you can use to customize your Power Pages site? So the first thing is JavaScript and the jQuery. So client side scripting is supported. So all kind of DOM, unlike model driven app where DOM is not supported, you have to use the client object access model. But here, the model driven app, so whatever JavaScript you write in the Dataverse, in the web resource, is not supported in the Power Pages, and whatever DOM you are writing on the Power Pages is not supported in the model driven app or in the Dataverse. All right. So you can write your JavaScript, jQuery for, numerous business use cases, like for client side validations, for any sort of DOM element, for writing a script, for writing, the CSS and everything. You have got this Bootstrap 5 version to write the CSS. So if you have to do the styling, or you have to change the branding of your Power Pages site, then you have the choice to use the CSS. So Bootstrap is supported. Okay. So Power Pages site is basically developed on top of the Bootstrap framework. So you can go to the Bootstrap website. You can download the templates, whatever you want to use it. You can customize that template, the CSS and everything, and you can upload it in your Power Pages site. So if I can go back to my portal, and In the design studio, if I have the styling option, then for example, you have, if I click here, manage CSS, and then here you got the option called upload CSS. So you can see like I have uploaded the custom CSS called Power Guide CSS. So similar way, you can do your own upload as well. And here you can see the default CSS available for your Power Pages site. All right. So CSS is the second option that you can use it. The third option is the Liquid. So Liquid is one of the code. It's an open source language that is introduced by the company called Shopify. And here you can write all kind of code, like except the server side code. You can write HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery. So basically, if you have to create a complete customized page where you don't want to use any of the out-of-box component of the portal, and your client is looking for a custom page where you want to add your own controls and everything, so you want to have the complete control over of the pages, then you can go with the Liquid, because Liquid is the combination of everything. You can write in the Liquid code, you can mix up the JavaScript, CSS, and you can also use the fetch XML to retrieve the data from the Dataverse. And there are a lot of other features of the Liquid. So I'm not going to discuss more about the Liquid, but Liquid is basically used to create a a complete customized page for your application. Okay, where you can display the dynamic content as well. So sometimes, so I will show you the example of Liquid in the upcoming tips as well. Okay. So, but just for understanding, you can know, like if you have to customize a page where you don't want to use any of the out-of-box component, then you can go with the Liquid. You have the Power Platform CLI. So Power Platform CLI is the command line interface. It is basically used for the deployment purpose. So you can take the export of your complete Power Pages configuration. You can make the changes in your configuration, and then you can upload it back to the Power Pages site. So for these kind of purpose, you can use the Power Platform CLI. Power Effects, so it is one of the latest enhancement that Microsoft has introduced, but currently it is in preview. So if you have used the Power Effects expressions in the Canvas app or in the model driven app, the same is going to be supported in the near future in the Power Pages as well. But some of the syntaxes, like, if you want to get the contextual information of the logged in portal user, right? For example, who is the logged in user, what is the full name of it, what is the role assigned to that user, and based on that you have to design your application or change anything in your application. Then in that case, Power FX is a very powerful low code language right now. Okay. And since it is in preview right now, it has got some limited feature, but believe me, like it is going to be one of the most powerful language on the Power Pages, along with the Liquid. All right. C sharp. So there are a lot of questions behind this, like can I write the C sharp code? So of course you can write the C sharp code, but it can only be the trigger based. So if something happens in the Dataverse, whenever you are performing any actions from your Power Pages site, and any transaction occurred in the Dataverse, then on top of it you can write your own C sharp based code, and that could be Azure Functions, webhook, your custom workflows, your real-time workflows, or your Dataverse plugins. It could be anything. All right. And then you have the Power Automate options. So this is also one of the recent enhancement that Microsoft has introduced. So they have integrated Cloudflow that gives you the flexibility that you can integrate your Power Pages site with 1000 plus external data sources. Okay, so like SharePoint, Outlook, Microsoft Teams, and some other non-Microsoft data sources also. You can integrate them, and you can also call an external APIs, or you can also do a lot of complex business logic like parsing of the JSON, send the input from the Power Pages site to your Power Automate do all the kind of complex business logic, and then gives the output back to your output back to the Power Pages site. So this kind of things you can do the Power Automate. All right. Portal Web API. So before the Power Automate introduced, the Portal Web API was the only option available that can help you to perform the CRUD operation on the Dataverse. So if you have to perform any create, read, update, or delete, the portal web API was the only option available. But nowadays, since we have the Power Automate available, so you can utilize that as well. Okay. Of course, it's a non-real time approach to do that, but it of course it's a very good option to perform the CRUD operation without performing or without writing any code in the application. Power Pages admin APIs. So Microsoft has provided some admin related APIs as well in the Power Pages. So sometimes, when you are, it might be possible like you are setting up the ALM for the Power Pages. So you might need to create, delete, or get the website of the Power Pages site in your code using the REST API. Then in that case, you can use those Power Pages admin API. So these API basically help you to create the site using REST API. You can delete the site using REST API. You can get the website ID using REST APIs, and you can also restart the website as well. Okay. So sometimes instead of doing it manually, you want to automate all these things. So in that case, you can use the Power Pages admin APIs. There are a lot of generative AI features as well that you can also use it, that I'm going to discuss about that in the later slide. But yes, after the introduction of the Copilot AI, there are a lot of features that you can use uh, related to the generative AI in the Power Pages as well. It has also integrated with the SharePoint for the document management, DocuSign, payment gateway, Azure Front Door, and the content delivery network. So these are the default integrations available. You only need to enable these data sources and only need to do only some basic configuration in your Power Pages in order to integrate all these data sources or the features. Embed your site to the another website. So Power Pages also supports that if you have to embed your Power Pages site to any external website, then you can also do it in the form of iframe. Integration with other Power Platform components, for example, Power Apps, Canvas apps, Copilot Studio, Power BI. So for example, like if you have to embed a chatbot in your Power Pages site, you can of course use the Copilot Studio to design your chatbot. And there you can use all the kind of generative AI and features to get the answers from various other websites as well. You can embed the Canvas app as well in your Power Pages site, and you can also create some fancy dashboards or reports in your Power BI, and that you can also embed in your Power Pages site. And Cloudflow integration I've already suggested. So Power Pages is well connected with all the kind of Power Platform components as well. And then we have the virtual table. So if you have to display some external system data in the form of read-only format, so that you can also do it. So virtual table integration is also supported. So I think as of this session, I think only three data sources are supported for virtual tables: SharePoint, SQL Server, and I think the third one, I'm not sure. It's Azure SQL or something like that. So there are two, three data sources are currently supported for virtual tables, and I'm expecting some in the near future, some more data sources will be introduced. And then we have the Power Pages components as well. So if you are aware, like PCF control that we use in the Canvas app or in the model driven app, you can directly use those PCF component into the Power Pages site as well with some additional, little bit configuration. You don't need to write any additional code to do that. The component framework or the PCF control you are creating for your model driven app, you can directly show it to the portal as well. So these are the different ways you can extend your Power Pages site. Okay. Now, when you need to write the code basically, so you can write the code to perform the client-side validations, to design a complete customized page, to perform the CRUD operations, or to design your own control that doesn't exist in the Power Pages, or any feature that doesn't support in the Power Pages, or to customize the default components or the layout of the website, because sometimes your customer doesn't happy with your the default layout of the Power Pages, how the header should look like, how the footer should look like. So in that case, you need to customize your application to integrate with the external API data sources or the Power Platform components, or you need to trigger some, business logic, some trigger based business logic, like on create of you want to do something, on delete of do you want to do something. So for these kind of things, and you need to display the data on the website in the real time. So for these are the different business scenario where you need to extend the Power Pages website. All right. Tip number two. So the tip number two is basically liquid skills for every developers. So as I told, like liquid is one of the most powerful language right now in the Power Pages, that you can use it to design the complete custom page on your Power Pages site. Okay. Now what you can do with the liquid basically, so you can use the site settings to store your configuration data. So basically, liquid, when you are writing a code in the liquid, it basically helps you to communicate with other components as well. So if you are aware, like site setting is one of the component in the Power Pages site that helps you store the values in the key value format, right? So it also, so if you are writing the code in the liquid code, you can directly get the data from the site setting without querying the site setting table. You can store your text and string messages in the content snippet, and you can directly refer those content snippet in your liquid code. You can store your web page redirection logic in your site markers, and site markers you can refer it in your liquid code. Web links. So if you have to design a custom menu bar or the menu or the navigation link, you can use the web links to create all those web links to create all those menu option, and you can then retrieve that in the liquid code. I'll quickly show you everything like whatever I'm showing here. You can also use the fetch XML in your liquid to, retrieve the data from the dataverse, and you can then bind it to the editable subgrade or whatever, format you want to. You can customize the list of forms. You can create your own custom APIs as well if you are using a liquid, and you can include so for example, you always use the web template or some other components to create the liquid, and if you want to refer one liquid code into another liquid code, then you can include the web templates as well. And then if you have to customize the default layout of the website, then also you can use the liquid. So if I just go back to the Power Pages site, so you can see here I have created a home page here, right? And in this home page, you can see it's a completely customized page. Okay, I am not using any out of box features or the component of the Power Pages site. So I want like my page should look like this. Whenever I will log into the portal, it should greet me with a message and some other messages, a button that should redirect me to the different page, and there is some header message again, and then here it's showing all the upcoming events, and it is showing the count of the events, and here it's showing the banner of all the events. Okay, so it is kind of event management website where your customer wants or your organization wants to complete customized page like this, like, and these are the titles. So this all the information is stored in my Dataverse, but how I have to display this information? So basically I have written the liquid code for that. So this is the liquid code I'm using here. Okay. So the first thing is like there are a lot of content or the text messages available on the website, like the greeting message and everything. So all those greeting message, I have created a content snippet and store it there. So for example, like this is the snippet called home greeting title. So if I go back to my portal management tab and go to the content snippet, if I try to search this, I mean, think I need to go because my portal is on the old version, so I need to go to the portal management instead of Power Pages management. So if I go and search this, you can see like for each language I have one home greeting title content snippet available. And here I have written welcome to Power Guide community. So instead of hard coding this text string in my liquid code, I am just creating this content snippet because this component is basically used to store all kind of text and the string messages. And I'm directly referring this in my code like this. Snippet is just a keyword, and this is the name of my snippet. In the similar way, I'm using the description, right? So this is how I can directly use that. Instead of hard coding the text and the string, I can refer the other components. And here is the site markers where I can, if I have to redirect on a particular page, instead of hard coding the URL or the partial URL of that web page, I can create a site markers. So for example, if I go here, go to the site markers, so these are the site markers I have already created. So the the advantage of creating site marker is that whenever you create a site marker, you can associate that with a web page. Okay, so for example, if I have to redirect to the call for a speaker page, I can directly refer the site markers. So the advantage is that if tomorrow, if I change the URL of this particular page, so if I go to this page and if I change the partial URL, it will not impact my code. But if you are hard coding this particular partial URL to redirect to this web page, and if tomorrow I change this partial URL, your code will break. So this is one of the advantage of referring using site markers in the liquid code, right? So this is the site markers keyword, name of the site markers and dot URL. So by doing that, you can redirect to this. And then I was talking about one web template where I'm writing the liquid code. I can refer the other web template as well. So you can see like I have already created a web template called fetch XML get events. So if I go here, go to the web templates here. If I try to search this, I have created a uh, web template where I'm only storing the fetch XML and retrieving its only storing the fetch XML. Okay. And if I want to include this fetch XML in my home page web template, I can simply use this particular keyword include. So this is how you can break down your code into multiple web templates, and you can segregate your liquid code, because sometimes when your code length is too long, then you can simply keep your code in the different liquid or different web template and can include it. Same like the JavaScript library. All right. So this is how you can include. And then some another example is like site settings I was talking about. So site setting is basically the key value pair. So if I go to the site setting, you can see I have some 93 site settings available, but you can create your own site setting. A site setting is the name and the value pair, right? So sometimes you can keep here your configuration data, or you may want to refer some existing site setting value as well. So how you can do that? You can use the keyword settings and then you can provide the name of the site setting. So for example, like on my event page, I want to close the registration. So for example, like today is the last date of the registration, and from tomorrow onwards, I don't want any of the participant to register for the event, right? So instead of going to in my code and hide this register button, right? What I can do it, I have simply created a site setting called Power Guide Enable Session Registration. Okay. And here I can simply turn this value to true and false. If this value is true, then show the button like this. If it is not true, if it is false, then hide the button like this. So this is how you can, uh, um, this is a very good practice that how you can, keep your liquid code like this, and you can interact with the different Power Pages component. All right, so these are all about the liquid code. Now, if I go to the third option, third tip, that is how to write the reusable code for smart development. Okay, so there are many business scenarios where you have to write the same line of code or the same logic on the multiple pages. So it's not a good practice. So in that case, you can create a reusable component a reusable code, and you can refer it into the multiple pages. So what are the different options we have to create it? The first is you can either create a JavaScript code or library and can store it in the web file. So web file, like it is a container where you can hold all kind of web related files, right? Now, when you store all the files there, you can refer them on any of the web pages. Okay, so this is the one thing. Second, PCF control we already talked about. So because PCF control you created outside your Dataverse or Power Pages, and then you can include it into your multiple pages wherever you need it. So that is also one of the way you can create the reusable component. The third is the web template components. Web template components is the new feature that Microsoft recently introduced. In this feature, basically what you can do it, you create your web template as a reusable component. So for example, like if I head over to my Power Pages portal management app, go to the web templates. I've already created one uh, uh, a component called review component. Okay. And in this review component, I am retrieving the data from the review table that is stored in my Dataverse. Okay. And this review table, this basically web template is doing nothing. It is basically retrieving the data from the review table and basically using this kind of HTML and CSS to design the output of that particular data. Okay, but the interesting part here is we are basically using manifest keyword here in the liquid. So this is basically converting this whole web template as a web template component. Okay. So for example, like I have created this component to display the review comments. And if I want to include this web template on the multiple pages, how can I do that? So this is the one place I have created. And here I have created three parameters: name, count, columns, cutoff, and the load more label. So these are the parameters I have created. Now, if I go back to my design studio and I have created a page called review. So you can create a page like this plus page. And once you click create a new page, for example, like set submit like this, start from blank, add, and then here click on three dots and there is an option called review and post. Okay, so why it called reviews? Because that I have created this component with display name reviews. Okay, so if I go back, click on reviews, it will add that component. If I click on edit, it will ask me all those parameters information. If I fill all this information, like for example, product review, count 5, 3, 3, like this, and click done. You can see all the information got pulled from the Dataverse and it displaying like this. So I don't need to write the same code again and again. I can add this simply components, provide the parameters values on the multiple pages, right? So this is one of the way how you can use the web template components. Another options that you have is the content snippet and the web template. Okay. So as I already told you, like content snippet and the web template is also one of the way where you can write your HTML text, JavaScript, or liquid as well. So the advantage of writing code in the content snippet and web template is that you can refer them into the different web template and the different content snippet. So by writing this, you can create the multiple reusable solution for your site development. All right. So this slide deck I'll be sharing with you so you can get the difference, like what is the advantage of writing code in the content snippet versus web template. The major advantage is, uh, if they're talking about the use case, the content snippet basically used to store the common text messages across the pages, while the web template is basically used for the page layout forms and the complete dynamic content display, right? But both can be used to write the reusable component. So for example, like if you have to write some phone or mobile phone number or the email validations, and that could be common across the multiple pages. So instead of writing the same validation logic again and again, you can write either in the content snippet or in the web template and then include it in the multiple pages, right? The tip number 4 is avoid common security pitfalls. Okay, so there are most common security issues that we don't usually follow is, so if you go to the security section on the Power Pages, here you get all the security related features. So as a Power Pages developers, if you are developing your site, always run scan. So this is currently a tool this is an internal tool which is currently in preview, but you can still run this tool on your development site, and you can check like is there any vulnerabilities or is there any loopholes, loopholes are there in your website. Okay, so you can also do the deep scanning as well. In this deep scanning basically takes 2 to 4 hours of time, and it also needs the authentication of your username and password in order to log into your website. So, but it will not store your username and password somewhere else. It will only to let you in your Power Pages application so that it can scan through all your features or all your configuration you have developed. All right. And except from that, you have called the web roles. So basically, you have three options: administrator, anonymous, and authenticated user. So you need to very carefully decide like which particular data you need to give to access to the anonymous user or the authenticated user. Okay. Site visibility is also one of the good feature. So until your site is under the development, you always need to keep your site in the private mode. Okay, by doing that, you don't accidentally show your website to any external audience. But once your site is going live or went already live, then you need to keep it as a public. And if your site is private, but still you want to restrict that from some internal users, or you want to give the development access to this particular site to the specific user in your organization, then you can also restrict that thing as well. So you can provide grant site access. Here you can enter the email address of all the Microsoft Entry account, Microsoft Entry ID account, and you can share it with them. Okay. There are some default features called web application firewall. So it basically helps you protect your site from the malicious attack. So this is also one of the major advantage of using Power Pages site, that you have got this inbuilt feature available. Okay. And there are some other features that I have listed here is, you need to, if you're calling any external API or if you are calling any API, then don't store any sensitive data in your tokens or in the query or the parameter strings. Okay. And always enable the multi-factor authentications that will enhance your security by requiring a second form of verification beyond a password. So these are some of the common security issues that we, as a developer, we need to keep in mind to avoid any kind of security issues. So this
Awesome.
we already discussed.
Hey, Arpit, thanks for
Yeah.
sharing all your tips as well. We went a little bit over, and Sharon's just waiting for her presentation. Would you be able to put
Yeah.
all your other tips as well, maybe on the forum, the chat, or making sure people can reach you out
Yes.
and
Yes.
goes,
Definitely.
yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. Do you want to just quickly wrap up for us, Arpit?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so since all the so I will share this slide deck with you. So I could share only 4 tips with you, but
Mm-hmm.
I have some more tips that I can definitely share with on the Teams channel as well, and you can reach out to me as well. So the other tips are basically related to automate your portal
Mm-hmm.
invitation, customize the Azure AD B2C pages, how to integrate the cloud flows, and then what are the Copilot AI capabilities you have,
Mm-hmm.
and the debugging troubleshooting steps, and maybe the last one is the deployment strategy. So probably what I can do it like, I can record the rest of the 5 or 6 tips whatever we have, and can share it with you so that you can merge the recording and can share it with the audience. Is that
Yes, thank you.
looks good?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it looks perfect. Yeah, thanks for that.
Perfect, perfect. Yeah.
And how can we find you on the social media? what's your contact for us to find you?
Yeah, so that's I already shared here. Like you
Mhm.
can find my, you can connect me on LinkedIn, my YouTube, or Twitter. You can just find me with my name, Arpit Power Guide. That's it.
Excellent. Thanks,
Yeah.
Arpit. Thanks for that.
Thanks,
Thanks for.
everyone. Thank you.
I can see late in the night for you as well. It's midnight already. Thank you for sharing.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Thank you. Bye
No
bye.
problem. Thank you.